There is something for ADA that is going to come without warning. It's going to be violent. It's going to surprise a lot of people. We've been talking about this for quite some time, and other people are starting to realize that, yeah, this is the likely path forward, and we need to have a discussion about it. I want to talk about something actually important that happened in terms of ADABTC, which gives us a lot of room to move here, as well as a few other things too. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So when we look at ADA, this has actually been a pretty decent couple of days here. Again, like we talked about, we're setting higher highs. We're showing some good resilience. We're basically floating right above this 20-day moving average, showing a level of resilience we actually really haven't seen in the charts before. And that's again, I think us kind of getting to this point where people don't want to miss out on the big boom that's coming in the crypto market. They don't want to miss out on the Glacier airdrop, right? There's obviously a lot of great things coming down the pipeline in terms of Cardano. So that conviction that already was high is only getting higher, which is perfect. That's what we need to see on a fundamental level. And I think part of that is the reason we are going to see a violent move for ADA coming down the pipeline. Now, I'll get to this in just a moment here. Did want to just mention this briefly. I might have mentioned this the other day, guys. Everything just kind of blends together at this point. But we did have the highest week of exchange outflows in terms of ADA supply we have seen since all the way back in March. Yeah, pretty sure I did mention that, but mention it again. It's a really good sign, and it's a very consistent sign. It keeps increasing slowly but rising, or slowly but surely rising, and that's great there. Did want to mention as well in terms of the ADABTC chart, we closed our weekly candle above that 20-week moving average, guys. That's our bull market support. It's a pretty big deal, and remember, we did this exact same thing back here in 2024. We broke out. We had a candle that came down, retested this 20-week moving average, broke below it, closed above it, and then it was kind of off to the races. We went on a rally. Well, look where we're at right now. We closed above it, a lot closer to it, but now what we're doing is we're starting a green candle week versus BTC. Hopefully this continues, and hopefully we can start breaching this. It was the very basically next candle that we started to breach that 20-day moving average in a much bigger way. So that's exactly what we want to see here in terms of the charts. Now, I don't think people realize how similar we are to 2024. We're actually following this exactly, almost exactly. When I take this trend from 2024, basically the summer after we dipped and we were going sideways and we're kind of prepping for this breakout here. I'm gonna try to make this a little smaller. This is the exact formation we were following as we were trying to muster up some strength and build some momentum. Guys, it tracks almost perfect, right? That was our trend last summer. Now, does this mean that we're going to come back down to, 60 cents, 66 cents before our move? No, it doesn't. Because again, very different, a lot more conviction. Hopefully we don't do that. I hope we don't drop down here. But the point I'm trying to make is a lot of people are starting to come to the understanding that there is going to be a violent vertical move. All right. This is actually from Ivan on Tech. And we said ADA could suddenly start going vertical, and then ADA's at an all-time high. And I believe that this is the exact way this is going to play out. It's the exact way that it played out back here in in November. It's the exact same thing that happened on the March announcement. We obviously had times even in the early part of this market cycle where we kind of went full vertical. Candles of 20, 30% for ADA would not surprise me in the slightest, because again, going back to exchange supply removal, there's very limited amounts to go around. We have momentum building in the market. ADA whales have been heavily accumulating. I mean, there's a lot of things that right now are just putting a little bit of an extra pep in ADA's step. And that's why I kind of find it hard to believe that we'd go back down to these ranges here. Not saying it can't happen, but the problem is now, again, you're trying to unconvict the convicted people. And I think a lot of people are much more prepared for now late market cycle than playing games and goofing around and potentially losing their entire bag. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So there are a lot of projections right now that have been increasing. Some people are talking about $10, $11. I kind of lost them in this article now. Anyways, Tyler Burke saying $11 to $12 by 2026. It seems like 2026 is now likely to be where the top for this market cycle is going to be. Again, we'll make an assessment. I think there's going to be a shakeout in October because a lot of people are expecting the all-time highs or this cycle peak to be in October. But again, I think we're going to get a big push from institutional money. It's going to extend things. And actually, that could be around the time where we see this ADA spot ETF approval. Maybe that changes the dynamic completely, right? Minterm suggesting an $11 ADA this cycle. You guys know I've still carried my projections of $7 to $15 ADA, would make a whole lot of sense. So I think we're going to get a big short squeeze again at some point. It's not really going to surprise me. It's going to be very similar to this run up here, but more aggressive, more violent. I think that's finally officially when we start to get a lot of this capital that's stuck right here, and we start to see this go down to here. All right, when we start hitting some of those range lows that we haven't seen since December. I think that BTC dominance at that same time is probably going to be running down to about, we'll call it 58% or so. All right, so that's a 2% drop there, and maybe even further beyond. So that's my idea of how things are going to play out. Does that mean it's right? Does that mean it's going to happen 100%? No, absolutely not. We still have a lot of time left, I believe. Still a lot of shift to take place in the crypto market, a lot of momentum to be built, still need to trigger adoption, but yeah, that's what I got for you guys. So appreciate you. Let me know your thoughts below. Do you think this move is going to be a full vertical move? Do you think we take more of these little baby steps forward? But have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.